guys. Justin, you can hear me okay, correct?
Yes.
All right, great. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Justin kind of summarized it for me pretty well. I know a lot of you guys are using OneSite, and I was using OneSite when I first started working here as kind of like my lead software. And starting to use Anyone Home just really made my life a lot easier, and it just cut all of that time that I was emailing leads through OneSite and recording all those activities. Anyone Home pretty much makes it automatic for us. Okay, and then on top of that, we'll get into it throughout the presentation, but it has certain tasks and certain emails that can be triggered off, and those are completely automatic. Okay, so I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I know, at least for Patty, I know it's a review because we went over it. This is the same PowerPoint that we went through. But with that being said, feel free to ask any questions throughout the way, and let's get it going. Okay. Awesome. So just read through this right here, guys. This is kind of like the Anyone Home philosophy. It's kind of their company motto. Obviously, they're a lead software company that is going to help us reduce the time that we have to put into leads. And I think by seeing this the past year and the last couple months, I've improved on my time, and also the residents and the inquiries. I think they get positive feedback back to us, and it's a lot less hassle on our end. Okay, I wanted to start out, guys, by going through something that they call the dashboard. It's pretty much the home page. If you guys ever, obviously most of you guys have Facebook or anything like that. So this is the home page. First off, we'll go through the next steps. The next steps function keeps you on track for anything that needs to be done with Anyone Home. You guys can see my example. I have a voicemail. I can easily download and listen to that voicemail, also view that lead and update any notes that I need to do with that lead. There's different tasks such as email tasks and phone calls. It'll really get on me if I miss one that was scheduled throughout the day. So that's also a good tool just to make sure that you're on task with everything that you have at hand. Okay, the next is the My Schedule section. It kind of shows you guys like a default schedule of what you guys are going to have throughout the day. So you can see all of your scheduled showings. You can see any unassigned showings and then schedule them to yourself or another person working in your office. You can also take off time. So, if I had a dentist appointment later this week, I would cancel out all times throughout that time frame. That way, no one can schedule appointments throughout that time. Okay. Finally, at the bottom, we have the KPIs. It's pretty much Justin's best friend because he can kind of keep track of me, Tom, and Deb and see where we're doing. Making sure that all the tasks are being managed in a certain time frame, and on top of that, keeping the valid leads and the assigned leads, and making sure that pretty much the leasing agents are doing their jobs. Okay. On top of that, at the top of the page, you guys can see Create. Okay, this Create function is pretty awesome because you guys can create new inquiries as they come in. Okay, this is perfect for anyone that calls in or maybe walks in. You can immediately start taking down their information. They have a lot of different options, such as a lead. You can schedule a showing, you can log a showing, personal events, and things like that. Okay, so you guys can see that basically you can put in everything that you really need for an inquiry basis. Okay. Next up, if you guys notice on that home page, on that dashboard, you have all these different bookmarks. Okay, I just wanted to go over a couple of bookmarks for you guys today. We'll go over the leads, the residents, and then the messages. Okay. So we start out with the leads. You guys can see that at the top, there's 4 sections of leads. There's My Leads. so those would go under Ryan King. There's all leads, okay, that would go under the entire office of leads, okay, so that means that even if, Tom Walsh, even if he, has a couple leads, I can keep up with his leads just in case he's not in on the day, or if that specific inquiry has a question about their unit, I can stay up to date with them. Okay, you guys can see the next one is unassigned leads. Okay, typically in our office we distribute the leads by who's working that day. Everyone gets their own days, and that's how we kind of evenly distribute those leads. The unverified leads are people that typically, like, if it's a corporate call or things like that, they would probably go under unverified leads. Awesome. So this is an example of what an inquiry page would look like. As you can see, I kind of filled in the email, the mobile number, the move-in date, everything that you guys need. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to read than the one-site page itself, which is pretty cool. At the bottom, you guys can see a huge time frame or a timeline of all the activity that you've had with that inquiry/resident. Okay, you guys can see all the emails, you can see all the correspondence to that email, and then all the showings as well, which is pretty cool. It kind of keeps you up to track and then keeps you honest to see, obviously we have so many different inquiries and appointments coming through, so it's really important to keep track of what you're doing with which inquiry. Does anyone have any questions before we keep going? Great.
When you create the lead, does it automatically filter into one site?
It does. That is correct. Yes. The integration, we worked on the integration earlier in our process, and everything goes through except for the timeline doesn't accurately go through into one site completely yet. But that's one of the reasons why we're trying to switch over to that Anyone Home, so we can have that accurate timeline.
But once it's in one site, we don't have to go back into Anyone Home.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So what's going to happen is you're going to spend all your time as a prospect for people having prospects in Anyone Home, and then everything is going to be logged into one site. So then you'll be only going into one site when they actually become an applicant or a resident. All prospects will be handled in Anyone Home, and it's a two-way communication integration. So if you were actually in one site doing some prospect activities, it'll actually go into Anyone Home. But we recommend just staying in Anyone Home. You'll see reasons why, because it's a simpler use.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. The next step to residents, basically the same concept. However, you can kind of keep track of what's happening with all of your residents. What unit they're assigned to, the residents and the unassigned residents. The big thing with, keeping these residents, we can do a mass email to all of our current residents that have been living here for a certain time. We can do it for anywhere from like the past year, the past month. We can all do that through the lease start dates or the lease end dates, which is pretty useful in my opinion. The next up, guys, is our messages. The messages, they keep an accurate, they keep all of our corresponding messages back and forth. We have email, we have text message and SMS now, and then it keeps track of all of our voicemails. Okay, this is perfect for, again, if someone from my office was not in the office, I can keep that accurate time frame and just kind of know what my other leasing consultants were talking about when corresponding with an inquiry. And it kind of keeps just everyone in the office on the same page. Let's see. So next up is going to be a leasing agent's best friend. Okay, these are called templates. Okay, a lot of people right now, I know you copy and paste a lot, and I understand that customizing the template is a pretty large thing for us. Having so many different emails that we send throughout the day. Okay, but what we can create is property-centered templates. Okay, versus your self-created templates. These property-centered templates can go to a variety of different people. As you guys can see, an inquiry or situation could include a family, a group of students, pet owners, affordable housing units, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom specific unit, an upgraded unit. There's certain templates like these that we can just create, and then you guys can plug in and send to certain people, pretty quickly, instead of having to type it out or go back and copy and paste those different things. As you guys can see in that email, I'm not sure if you guys can see my mouse, okay, but it's going to say hello first name, and that first name is in parentheses. Okay, that's going to merge the field, and that's going to use that first name of the person of the inquiry. Okay, so it kind of takes away, it puts the more personalized template into account, but also it kind of shows that inquiry that you guys are caring enough to put in their name, obviously. Okay, and it's really no hassle for you guys. Okay, on top of that, we can also add videos and other special documents. We always add a little flyer to the end of our emails just to add some more information and things like that. Awesome. So this was just an example email that I sent to Justin. As you guys can see, it says, hello, Justin. Okay, that was part of the merge field because I used Justin's name as the inquiry. Okay, then at the bottom, it has all of your information. So it has the property information on the right as Harbor Point in the Bay, along with our address. And then it also has the agent name and then my office number on the left. Okay, as you guys can see, me and Kennedy, we also created this entire table in order to access the hyperlinks. Okay, on the top right we have our website and Facebook page, and then towards the bottom we have the schedule a tour, view our floor plans, take a video tour, and apply today options. Okay, we want to give as much information to our inquiries as possible without making it just a bunch of words or just a bunch of links. Okay, so keeping it in that table form has been really successful for us. Okay, next up. Okay, so what we're going to end up trying to do, guys, for every single one of our properties is create a bunch of triggers for all of these templates. Okay, so right now we have a certain set of triggers. We actually have an email that's immediately sent out exactly after that lead is created. Okay, what that email says, it's not assigned to anyone just yet because the leasing agent hasn't been assigned. However, that person has the option to schedule the tour right away. Okay, so we send out that immediate email trigger, and that encourages those people. You kind of want that immediacy when dealing with the leasing agent, in our opinion, and that's what's been very successful with us. We've gotten a lot of tours that way where they're unassigned to an agent. However, people like to see that we're reaching out immediately to them. Okay. So on top of that, guys, so the different triggers, there's different phases to the triggers. So obviously I talked about the inquiry. We keep sending out follow-up emails until they finally schedule that initial tour. You guys can see that right here. Okay, so we actually send out a 3-day follow-up, and then a 5-day follow-up, a 10-day follow-up, 15 follow-up, until finally they schedule that tour. Okay, we send out appointment confirmations, which are all automatic. Okay, if they ever want to reschedule a tour, they can, and then eventually, as you guys can see in the middle, the showing finally occurs. After that, the event is logged by a leasing consultant, and then you guys can go into either the deposit process or the application process if they choose to live at your property. Okay, the next slide, guys, I just kind of listed out a couple future opportunities that I see for Congenison moving forward with Anyone Home, because I do think that is a great software that we can all utilize, especially as leasing agents, or especially as property managers and things like that. At this point, does anyone have any questions? I know I kind of like ran through that a little fast. But does anyone have any like certain questions about any of the functions that anyone home has?
Ryan, can you just go back to that tree again?
Mhm.
So, guys, this tree is really neat because we can make this automated. So, kind of the terms in Anyone Home, you have triggers and tasks. So there's a trigger, which means automation, and a task meaning you actually have to click on something to do it. So at the end of the day, we can make most of this automated, so make them triggers. After a certain event, then something else happens. So if a lead comes in, it triggers an automatic email that says, "Thank you so much for contacting Oak Hill or Village of Summerley Station. Someone will be in touch with you." In like 5 hours from there, another trigger or a task can be created, whether it's the leasing agent on the property, or maybe it's just another automatic thing that has customized language in another email that could say something. So this is all kind of customized for each property. We've been playing around with it at Harbor Point, trying to determine the best way to do this. So we during our high volume times, we put a lot of automation in there. And so, where there's not really that automation is the showings part. So if there is an appointment that's set, which is really great in the system, the appointment's set, and if there's a text message or a cell phone number on file, it will actually text the prospect to confirm that they're coming in at this time, or if they're not, to reschedule the appointment. And that's kind of a neat process. And so when that showing is scheduled for today at 2 o'clock, it's going to pop up on your tasks that said, "Jim Jones came in today. Where do I do from now?" So I can't automate that, just because you only know what happened during that tour. If it was a good tour, it was a bad tour, and so we need to tell the system what road to go down. So a lot of the stuff is going to be automated, but that can't be. So in order for us to keep that road going and that car going down that road, we have to tell the system, this is a good tour, this is a bad tour. We're going to continue with here's the application, here's the link to our website. We want you to apply from here. Or maybe we have to make the tour put on the back burner. Maybe it's not something for another 60 days or 6 months to move in, that we're going to put it down a different road. So those types of things, or maybe that just the price range is totally out of not out of their budget, and we just have to end it there. So all this little tree can be changed up, and I think after you guys get used to it a little bit more, you probably customize it a little bit more to what your property is looking for. But Ryan has a lot of these templates already set up to make it easy for everyone.
Yeah, guys, I've probably made about 40 templates already that can easily be like copy and pasted into making templates. And then basically, I can talk with you guys in creating these triggers. What you guys think your properties are going to be most successful in. We can definitely talk about that, and we can move forward from there.
So essentially, this is to make everybody's life easier. I think there's kind of a lot in this call, but it's really, we're going to do a lot of the back end work for you. If you just learn the front end stuff, you'll be spending a lot less time and getting a lot more accomplished throughout your day, just because of all these triggers and tasks. Was that all you had, Ryan, today, or?
Yeah, that's the end of mine.
Okay.
That's the end of everything for me.
Does anybody have any questions so far? So what I thought that was really neat, I'll let you guys go, was the fact that we can use this as a resident retention tool, which I think as a management company for properties, we've been trying to figure out how to effectively maintain kind of that resident retention and trying to figure that out. So there's actually some tasks or triggers you can actually set up that sends an email 3 days after that person moved in, and within that email it says, "Hey, how did we do?" Or these are some really great things about our property. And then within 30 days, we can send another email that says, hey, so, is there anything that, that we need to do to help you? And then maybe even we have something set up 210 days after move in, which is very close to where we're going to be sending the renewal. We're like, hey guys, how are we doing? Any feedback that you want to get back from us? And then, in another 30 to 60 days, then we send that renewal letter out that says, we're increasing your rent 10%. So it's not one of those things that, we're just sending that renewal letter out in 300 days later, and we never really have that interaction. This system will help us, have that kind of interaction there. And another thing that Ryan didn't mention before was, eventually, as time goes on, because they only take about 60 to 90 days back in residence from one site, you're going to be able to get 100% of all residents in any one home, and you'll be able to use any one home to text message and or mass email all of your residents, which we've had a really difficult time doing within one site. And the emails look amazing. They're all HTML, and they've gotten really good reactions, because you can unsubscribe. The resident can unsubscribe from these emails too. So even if they don't want this email, they unsubscribe from it. But we just recently sent out 1,700 residents email on something that we did, and it went out really, really well. So those types of things we haven't been able to do with one site, but now we actually have the opportunity to do that now.
I do have one question. When they are still in the prospect phase and after we do the initial contact, in the automated system, is there a way that we can text back and forth, like our specific information and not a template? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so one of the templates here, I can show you guys. So you guys can go in, sorry. You guys can see my screen. I'm just gonna go. So if you guys see, this is a full email template, okay? So I can enter in pretty much anything I want right here, okay? And then that can make it like pretty personalized, okay? But in my opinion, I have all these templates already set up. Okay, so I have about 40 templates between my personal templates, my property templates, and my company templates. Okay, so then we can enter in any kind of information that you guys want in here. Okay, and then that will turn into whatever you guys want. If you guys don't want this paragraph, okay, it's not a set template, so I can enter in whatever I want into these already placed templates. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
No, not really. So if the people who don't have emails, are we going to be able to text them from the system? Like, would we be able to send our own text messages to the system to a prospect?
Yeah, for text messages, here. Let me see. Oh, sorry. So send SMS like through the system, not through you're not trying to send it through your phone, right?
Oh, right.
Right. So you can send this would send them a text message.
Perfect.
Okay, and this is not my personal phone number. This is a system phone number that we provided them.
On this, Ryan, are these texts that we send going to show up as activity notes on the contact purchase like normal?
Correct. So that would show up in our messages, if you guys can see right here, and then I'm gonna go into SMSs. Okay. So right now we haven't gotten a lot of text messages in, but we do have many. We kind of send out a lot of confirmation texts to people that are coming in for appointments.
Okay, because especially with our property where we have specific income guidelines and every one of our prospects have different things kind of going on. So it's not really a template kind of thing we would need a million different templates.
Right. That is something that you guys can look into, is honestly you guys can put, in my opinion, for you guys, I'd make about 20 different templates for different situations. Okay, from those templates, you can still modify them Okay, there's still times where you will have to modify it. Obviously, I understand that, like, in leasing, there's so many different situations that can happen and different details that you guys can change. The templates are just there where you guys don't have to start from scratch every single time.
I mean, also,
Right.
there's no reason you can't very easily create a template for 50s, 60s, and 80s, all separate templates, and just have
Exactly.
them together.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
just getting ready to say.
Yeah, so if you guys, I'll go back to that.
And the amount of people in the household and all of our.
Right, which is something that honestly, well, you guys as well, from the property standpoint, you guys can make your own templates. Okay, so it doesn't have to be just me. If you guys can see here, I made an inquiry schedule a tour for every single one of our floor plans. For one bed, one bath, 2 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed. All of these they're pretty much the exact same email. They just have different prices down on them. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys. Any other questions for anyone else who's still on the
Yeah,
call?
so, I'm sorry, Ryan, I saw that the name was a field in a lot of these contacts. Is the pricing also going to be a field that it can pull from, one site?
Pricing.
Or can we make price a field? So like, you have your 2-bedroom template, and it may have price in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Can you make the price that appears in the contact a field so that it'll pull from one site?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think we've played around with that. I don't think that's a hard no, but I think we'd have to go back and research that a little bit more. That's a good one, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you still be providing a quote, which would take care of that price?
Yes.
You would still be providing quote. That's correct.
And that's also within any one home as well.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that. That's a great question.
Great. So, looks like again, we'll talk to each other again. You guys are probably so excited to talk to us this Thursday at 2:00, and then it'll be Eric that's going to be hosting the meeting, and he's going to tell us about how to use it, run it through there, and that'll be a great meeting. And then Ryan will keep on working on your templates in the back end. And then for villages, I think we do spend some time and set up those 50s, 60s, 80s market templates separately, because a lot of work at the beginning will mean a lot less work in the end, especially for you guys on site. So, and that's what kind of this is supposed to do, is create less work for you and more performance. Great, thanks guys.
Thank you, this was great.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it. You guys should be excited about it. This is going to help everybody's numbers and more commissions and more rent.
Whoop, whoop.
Cool. All right, guys. Talk to you guys on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, Jeff, thank you.